Do we know what we're doing? No. Are we going to do it anyway? Yes. I'm your host, Alexandra Broxma, and this is First Time Energy. Welcome back to the podcast where we take all those awkward, intimidating, I would actually rather evaporate moments and do them anyway. Today, we're talking about everyone's favorite, public speaking, or as I like to describe it, standing in front of a group of people while becoming very aware of the temperature in the room, how much you might be sweating, how dry your mouth is all of a sudden, and it's just overly uncomfortable sometimes. I'm very excited to welcome in a guest and friend of mine. Today, I have Troy Munger with me, and we're going to be unpacking why public speaking in front of people, whether it's 5 or maybe even 50, can make a fully functioning adult forget how to breathe sometimes. So let's do this. Troy, welcome. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you for having me.
So first segment is a really easy little thing. It's called the first time check. So I just like to check in with my guests and see, have you ever been on a podcast before?
No,
Are you excited about being here today?
more than I could say.
When I
Yes,
say when I say the words public speaking, what is your body's natural reaction?
it's kind of weird. If thinking about it doesn't bother me, and I assume I can do it until it actually happens, and then I just freeze up. It's very strange for me.
When I asked you to record with me, regardless of topic, were you like, yes, that sounds cool? Or did that stress you out because of maybe the idea of having to be recorded or public speaking?
It stressed me out, not because of the public part of it at all, because obviously for my job, I am in the public all the time and I can talk to anybody one on ones, which I think is why this is a little bit easier. But I also know when I did that commercial for work, it was a big challenge. So I was stressed out for that reason.
So before we move on to the main subject, the last question I have for you on our first time check. If someone handed you a microphone right now, unexpectedly, how close are you to passing out?
I'm not.
Okay,
I'd be
well,
fine.
so it sounds like you're a great person to talk to because I think that means that you have some things you've recognized about yourself and could probably work through the situation. So, again, I'm super excited to have you. Thank you for joining me. So, let's dive into it a little bit. You and I know each other how?
We work together and we are friends
And
at
where do
Skogman.
we work?
We are both realtors at
Is
Skogman
this an
Realty.
interrogation? I feel like I'm asking you, where were you at 5 o'clock?
No, no, no. Yeah. We are both realtors at Skogman together
Yeah,
and
so how long
friends.
have you been in real estate?
I've been a realtor for 13 years. I've actually been involved in the real estate industry for approximately a little over 25 years.
Okay. And if I recall correctly, you were previously working at Westdale Mall. And
That's
what did you do
correct.
there?
I started out as specialty leasing, or no, I was the marketing director. Then I went to a combo role, marketing and specialty leasing, and then leasing and management. And so marketing kind of, go ahead.
Did that role have you in front of groups of people for any reason?
No, it's very similar to the role I have now. I would talk to individuals, but as far as any public speaking on camera or anything, corporate had to take care of any of the public stuff for me, which was very helpful.
So you were
Actually was
like,
not allowed to be on camera.
yes, I will accept this job because of that requirement for a
Well,
corporate
I
to
didn't
do
even
that.
know it at that time, to be very honest. It just happened.
You and I have built a friendship over the course of the last 6 years, and I would never have expected you to be the person who would have a hard time speaking in front of a group of people.
Me either, honestly. Well, it's kind of strange. I was in high school, kind of shy, quiet, unless I was in my own group of friends, and nobody can believe that either. It wasn't until I into college when worked at Hy-Vee, had to talk to people all the time, that I actually kind of came out of my shell. And then from there went into Von Mar. And I think a lot of it is the confidence level of the topic that you're talking about, because one of the things that I've always prided prided myself on was the product knowledge and things like that. So even at Von Maur, I could talk to anybody about, the clothing or stuff like that. And it's very similar now with real estate. So I believe, it's kind of the how confident I am about the subject matter that I'm talking about normally. But when I'm in front of a group, it's all I can think of is what do I look like? How stupid do I sound? Am I sweating? It literally takes my mind off the subject matter, which really screws me up. And that's the problem I run into. You literally described it perfectly when you were doing the intro part, because that's what happens to me.
So, this topic came about because, as you know, the subject of my podcast is to work through some of those awkward, weird, scary moments that people have. And ideally, it's the first time, right? Once we do something once, it generally gets a little easier after that. But this episode exists because I've had those moments. I have those moments continuously as far as public speaking goes, but you only really have that one first time. So that's kind of where I came to this. And I would now describe myself maybe not as the normal person as far as public speaking goes, because I feel more comfortable with it. I don't necessarily have that fear and anxiety anymore. Now, I can relate to you, though, in that it does matter what the subject is. However, knowing the subject doesn't prevent me from sweating profusely.
See, in turning red, I get red when I public
I
speak,
feel
and
like I
it's
might have melanin that helps cover some of that. So I don't know if I do or don't. I guess I don't really know. No one's told me that I turn super red. But do you I know you just said kind of some of the things that you experience, but commonly I think people are worried about one, what they sound like. How aware are you? Can you hear
not
yourself?
hearing it. No, I
Okay.
can't hear myself, which is beneficial. The biggest thing, I hate the sound of my voice, and it's very strange. I think it's very common in all reality. So a lot of people, from what I've heard, don't like the sound of their voice. So
Oh
I
yeah,
probably
it's
will never watch
super
this video.
it's it's super awkward, which is funny, right? Because you could actually watch the video, just mute it, and then you could see what's happening without hearing it. But podcasts, right, don't always have video, they're all audio. So really, in turn, you're just never gonna listen to this audio clip.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna start playing it around you and see how long it
Shut
takes
up.
you to notice.
As soon as
So let's get in a little bit to the dynamics of this. Is there a threshold for you of how many people would need to be considered public speaking for you?
not necessarily. And like for example, when I first, let's say, I'll give you the first. How do I say it? I don't want to say success story by any stretch, but when I was taking real estate classes, even when I was called on to speak, give a role play, stuff like that, I would it would affect me dramatically. But now
Okay.
it doesn't, and I do think that's a lot of, like we talked about, a lot of it's because of the confidence level. Like when you called the class last week that I sat in on for a couple seconds, that when you called on me there, I had no issue talking and responding, but, like, during Nancy and Pat's training seminars, I was very stressed out,
Yeah.
and that wasn't even a big class, so, I mean, that was, like, 15 people, but, I mean, I think it's just situational.
Yeah. Yeah, and I when you stopped in, there were, like, 6 students in that classroom,
Yeah,
so and the space itself, do you think that the space has anything to do with it too? So, like, when you did stop in, that room, I mean, it was warm. The body temperatures in that room did not help the sweating factor. However, it felt intimate, right? It doesn't
yeah.
feel quite as daunting. Do you think that being in, like, specific spaces impacts how you feel about it?
I think it definitely could. I don't have enough experience, different
Okay.
situations on purpose,
Mhm.
but, I mean, it could definitely, I'm not sure, but
Have you ever
I
sang
don't know.
karaoke?
Not sober.
Do you remember it?
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
so you would not elect to sing karaoke.
correct. You don't need to go further. Yes, I would not elect to
Okay.
typically.
So I won't bring you back for the first time karaoke experience episode,
Oh, no, that's great, thank you.
unless I convince you to sing, in which case I will absolutely be
Depends on what
bringing
we're
you
doing
back.
beforehand, like, I agreed to this yesterday while we were drinking again, so, I say a common denominator.
I do very much appreciate that.
I
I
only had a couple
also
drinks, though, it's not like I was hammered.
I would also like to point out, because of the topic, for the listeners, that I called you 5 minutes before our scheduled time and asked you if we could postpone. Actually, what happened was I called, you answered, and I believe your words were, "Do you need to postpone?" And I said, "By, like, 15 minutes." And you cut me off and you're like, "To tomorrow." I knew that you were not looking forward to this. I do appreciate you being here.
No
And
problem.
I appreciate you powering through it, right? Because sometimes to get through those moments, you just have to push through it. So, okay.
Well, it going back, and I totally 100% agree. You're never going to. I personally don't feel if you don't challenge yourself, you're never going to get better at anything.
Mhm.
I've always said, even in real estate, that you learn the most from your failures, because if everything's successful, but you're not doing it right, you're just continue to do it wrong as long as you're succeeding, and that's can be bad. So I go
Happily
ahead.
echo that sentiment because by the time this episode airs, it will have been probably my 5th editing opportunity, and I can tell you how many times I thought I was done and thought I was doing well, and then I downloaded and listened to it, and I was like, "I cannot believe I thought that garbage was edited." That was a failure, and I learned from it, and I have progressively gotten better, so yours is gonna turn out great, okay? And you're never gonna even know
Yeah,
it. You're never even gonna know.
I won't because I won't listen to it, so we're good.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm certain that you have heard people say, "Oh, well, it's easy. Just imagine everyone's in their underwear."
Yes,
Do
I
you
don't
think
get
that that's
that.
helpful?
I know, because what good would be what good would me getting turned on have anything to do with public speaking?
I did say this is an unfiltered show. Am I blushing? Am I red? Can we see it?
No, I don't think
Uh,
no.
so what would be helpful for you to I don't imagine people in underwear. I also think the other one I've heard is along the same lines, like, just pretend everybody's naked, right? Like, and that's
Again,
also
same
another
thing.
very weird
Exactly. Because then, I
situation.
mean, then it goes rabbit hole. But anyway, the thing that would help me, I think, is preparing. However, I I don't know. The reason I say I don't know is when I was in college, my rhetoric class, first year of college, down in Iowa City, we had a 5-minute speech we had to give. And it was on who is my hero. And I chose, it doesn't matter. But I had this 10-minute
Well,
thing.
now I wanna know who's your hero.
No, well, it wasn't my hero. It was kind of, I like to joke. And so I tried to be funny, and it was stupid, but it was Batman. But anyway, it was all about the
Why
Batman, the
wait,
movie.
pause. Why
Yeah.
is Batman a stupid choice for your hero? I mean, he's
Because it was
literally
the
a superhero.
1960s Batman, and I talked about, like, when he's on the top of I don't know if have you seen the 1960s movie, the Batman the movie?
Probably not.
He's holding a bomb. I mean, it's a cheesy look. It looks like a bowling ball with a wick on it. It's so cheesy looking. I think it even says bomb on it or something, maybe. I'm not sure. But he's running, and everywhere he goes to throw this bomb off the roof, there's something like he runs to one side and there's like children or something. Then the next one he runs and there's like nuns. And so he keeps running from wall to wall. And then there's gonna throw it in the water and there's ducks, a family of ducks swimming. And so it was the stupidest thing. And I don't know, but I don't know why that pops in my head. And I have no clue why I even brought that up. But
I don't remember either.
I will show you the video because it's kind of interesting. But anyway, that's what my speech was kind of about, was my hero and how he's a real
Okay.
human and has carings and stuff. But anyway, or is caring. But I prepared this speech and I made it extra long on purpose. And I had all these cards and I prepared. I read it to everybody on my dorm floor and I did what I could. Got to class, and that 10 minutes when I prepared, because I knew I would talk fast, ended up like 2 minutes. And I didn't say half the stuff that I even had written down, because when I look at my note cards, they were just white because I couldn't even see because I was so nervous in front of the class. And it
Do
was
you
so
get the
bad.
shakes? Like, do you get the handshake?
No, I just get the blurry vision, and sweatiness, and I think it would be a lot different now, even since, because I have life experience, but back then
Yeah.
I was fresh out of high school. Very I was still shy in general, and so when I got in the front of the class, it was the worst thing ever.
Do you
But
see a difference between, or like, can you determine in your mind the difference between public speaking and then also being on camera? Like, are those two
not
different categories for
necessarily.
you, or are they the same?
It depends on the mindset. Like, talking to you right now, it's totally easy because I know you, but when I was doing that thing for Skogman, the, commercial, it was just like I was in front of 1,000 people, and I think because I didn't know the camera person at all, and I the subject matter was given to me the 2 sentences the night before, and it was kind of an awkward way to say things, even though she said you could change it up, and I was had it all prepared in my mind, and then it got there, and it was like, "Bleh." It just didn't.
The idea for me of public speaking doesn't stress me out, but the being on camera part does. This doesn't bother me because I can see what's happening and I have control of the production, right?
Mhm.
But when I went in and did the sit down for whatever KCRG's morning second everyday Iowa, and it was a very Ricky Bobby for me. Like, what do I do with my hands? Like Talladega Nights. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And they're like, put your hands down. And I'm like,
You
uh-huh.
seriously had your hands like this, like you were on
No, I
hostage?
didn't. No, I
Oh.
did not. No. But you just like when you can't see what's happening and you don't know, the camera looks like it's in your face, but is it actually zoomed in? Is it zoomed out? It's just you never know what they're watching. And I feel like that's part of that experience makes me nervous. But teaching and the education aspect of real estate has definitely helped me through the fear. You haven't determined exactly what the do you just wanna be like a quick scene of you vaping? Because 'Cause I'm happy to throw that in there for you.
No, I'm good.
Okay, because 'cause you'll never see it.
That's very true.
No, so I
You can
was
do
gonna
whatever you
say,
want, I don't care.
one of the things that, I mentioned at the beginning of this was, you are not the type of person that I would ever believe to have a fear of public speaking. So, I'd love for you to maybe paint a little picture for the listeners of what type of person you are socially.
Typically,
Would you
I can
describe
literally talk
yourself
to
as a social butterfly?
I'm outgoing, and I can literally talk to anybody. I can walk up to a stranger and talk to them. Like yesterday, for example, I went anyway, I walked up to this guy and he said, "He's from Chicago," and I just started talking to him about Chicago, and then I looked over and saw another one of his friends, and I ended up coming back, what, half hour later? I can talk
You
to anybody about anything.
are the epitome. I was just sitting here thinking about this while you were saying that, of what moves faster than a butterfly. But then I start because like I see you zip around to so many people in any given time. And then I thought, well, no, even though he is talking to tens of people, you do still the butterfly thing where it's like you fly and then you pause. And then you fly and then you pause with somebody
Let's
else.
say hummingbird, because I fly and then I stop at the flower.
Yeah. I mean, you do zip around.
Yeah, and then I zip around, yeah. And
I
the
think
other
it's
weird
funny
thing is that everybody says I'm hyper, and I am, but I'm also not. I have
not
2
classify
speeds,
you as hyper.
asleep or hyper a little bit. I mean, like, I always bounce my leg if I'm sitting, always, but
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that
that
you're hyper, though. You're not manic by any means.
no, I'm not no, not like no, not like that.
So, is speaking of yesterday, as you said that you the person who is from Chicago, did you know this individual?
No, not at all.
Okay, so then I was disappointed that I did not then find anything out about this individual because
I
for the listeners, you and I are very, very similar. And we've joked about doing this so many times and have not done it. And I feel like this should be the summer that we actually put this into practice. Yesterday
I think we
would have
should.
been perfect. But Troy and I have this thought process that historically we'll go out socially as a group and you kind of like reconvene. We do a lot of rides home together, right? And so it's like a debrief on the ride home and it'll be like I met this woman tonight who she is from I'm gonna shout out, I'm gonna use, someone I met recently on a vacation. I'm gonna pretend, that this is the scenario, but I'll be like, "Oh, I met this woman and she's from the Bronx." And you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, and she is the secretary for her husband who has a plumbing company." And I'll be like, "Yeah," and then they have 2 kids. They were on the waiting list for tickets to the Jets for 12 years. And then you'll be like, "Yeah," and it's almost like a competition of who got more information collectively, but what's happening that we are just organically we're having these conversations with people, and then we inadvertently realize and go, "Wait, who actually collected more information from these people?"
And it's not, but we don't, the weird, and I think the neat thing, we don't actually interview people. It's all
No,
through organic conversation. We're not sitting there
absolutely.
going through a list. We're literally just talking to people and it comes out. I don't know if it's because they feel comfortable with us
Well,
or
why
if
would they not?
that's
Look at us.
just, no, I agree, but I just don't know if it's the nature of, how do I say it? How we talk to them or how we look or both or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it's interesting. It's
I
fun.
I think that's an interesting point, though. I do think that it is some sort of comfortability that has to relate to that we genuinely care. So when I ask someone, "How was your day today?" I'm expecting them to give me the long answer, and I'm asking because I actually wanna hear the long answer. I'm not the person who's like, "Great, that was cool." I actually wanna know, like, "How are you?" But I think that that is an internal choice that people make, and I feel like that just, like, emanates out of us. Is that the right word? Emanate?
I think
Anyway.
so.
I can't
Better
but
than
yeah, I
oozes, maybe.
yeah. I do just think it's really interesting because you can be social with so many individual people that okay, wait, I have a scenario. Let's say we were at Zeppelin's yesterday. Shout out to Zeppelin's. Love it. Happy hour, 3 to 6 every day, 7 days a week. Like, I'm serious. It's a
Saturday.
big draw, right, for people.
Yeah. I had no idea as
And
busy it was.
yeah, so let's say you go individually talk to this entire bar full of people one on one. And
Mhm.
then now, ching, 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 you have to make an announcement to the same group of people who you've just individually talked to. Would you be able to do it?
I don't probably, but I don't know. I've never been put in that situation, so I can't
I'm gonna
really
do it
say.
next time.
I would
I'm gonna
like
ching, ching,
to
ching, and quick hand you the glass.
eh, I think I would like to say I could do it, but I don't know if I don't know because I honestly wish I don't know. It's
Okay.
that's a weird thing to
So let
me.
me ask you this. There has to be a turning point somewhere, right? So if you were put in that situation, any situation of public speaking, and you think, you know what, I'm confident about the topic, I feel okay about this, what would you do or tell yourself to help you get through that moment?
I don't think there's any inner dialogue that I would actually utilize. It's I for real, I almost have to shut my brain down to talk to
Hmm.
talk, and so I don't overthink that people are staring at me. I have
So
to
you
think about
compartmentalize the thoughts.
correct. I would have to think about the subject matter, not how I sound, because that's literally what makes me a little more nervous about things.
Would this have been easier for you if I like shaded you out and distorted your voice like they do in the like crime shows where
No,
like
because I don't
someone
wanna
was
sound like a mob hitman that just came clean or something.
it sounded like an interrogation at the beginning anyway. I was asking you questions and you're like, "That's correct."
I had a shut up.
Okay. All right. I'm done torturing you about that for the moment. I would like to move into my favorite segment, honestly. It's become my favorite segment. It was not originally a plan in the show, and then it just kind of developed over time, and now it's my favorite thing to do. So, this segment is called Commit or Cancel. I'm going to throw some rapid fire questions at you, and your only option is to either decide if you would commit to it or cancel. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Here's your questions. Introducing yourself on a microphone, commit or cancel.
Commit.
Okay. Speaking without reading directly off a paper.
Cancel. I
Ooh,
think the I literally sorry if this is
you're
rapid
okay.
I think reading off the paper is a good, almost like a crutch.
Okay.
Because even if I don't read it, like I said, with the note cards, I was looking at them, pretending I was reading them. I couldn't see them, but at least it psychologically took the focus off me, and maybe I don't know, I don't know, but I like to be able to read, have at least something like cue cards or something
Yeah, that's
possibly.
fair. That's fair. And how about walking to the front of the room while everyone watches you?
I'm fine with that. What do you call what's
Telling a
that word?
joke. What?
I forgot the two choices now.
Uh, what? Oh, commit or cancel.
Okay, commit or cancel. That's it. Okay,
Okay, commit. So you'd commit to walking to the
commit.
front of the room. Okay.
Yeah,
How about telling a joke to loosen up? Commit or cancel?
in front of a group,
Mm-hmm.
cancel. I don't know.
You're such a funny guy. You make jokes all the
The
time.
I know, but like even in high school, like literally junior high through high school, I always sat in the front of the class, not because I like
It's
to.
because you were being
Yeah, I
reprimanded.
never
Let's be
shut up, and
real.
so the teacher always made me sit next to her. And so I think maybe that's where my fear is, because I'd always have to face the flipping class, so I couldn't talk to people. That might be where some
You mean
fear
the
comes
teacher
from.
made you sit at the front of the room by her desk facing the class?
Yep, as
Shouldn't that in
punishment.
theory make you less nervous about talking to people publicly because that's
No,
all
because
you
they would
ever
be
did?
laughing at me. They'd be sitting there looking at me, and I'd be like, I mean, not really, but I'd feel that way because I was like,
Do you think that's why you're funny? Is because you like your stress
mm,
reaction was making jokes to
I've
lighten the
always
mood?
possibly. I don't know. I've
Huh.
literally. I don't consider myself funny. I don't think like I don't have jokes to tell,
Oh no,
but
you're like
I
witty
think it is
funny.
a defensive. I think it is kind of a way to ward things off. Possibly. I've always been like a class clown though too.
That I absolutely that's why, it's literally why, because you were sitting up front. I'm s comedy is my stress reaction. So, like, in the most darkest moments of my life that I have memory, and that will be a future episode, but I default to comedy, and it seems inappropriate in the time, but I don't know what else to do. Okay, wait, I'm not
I
done yet, hold on.
I have a perfect example for that though.
Of the next episode you
Stress
wanna be
comedy
on?
in the wrong
The one
time.
you wanna come back for stress comedy?
No, I'll just tell you that we can rearrange this in post or whatever. But what happened to me and my brothers when my grandma passed away. I think trying to think how old I was. I want to say 14. Um, Back in 1984, before you were ever thought of. But anyway, it was me and my brother. We were sitting at the funeral, and I didn't want to cry. And so every time I would yawn, for me when I yawn, I get tears, and I'm like, I'm not crying. And me and him would joke, like it just wives water a little bit when I yawn. I don't know why, but anyway, me and my brother would joke and we'd laugh, and it was we were making jokes during the funeral, and it was so wrong. And then when they came, this is it. But when they said come up for the last viewing, he freaking was spastic, bawling in the front of everybody, and it was because my all my emotions came out at once.
Yeah, no, that's
But the
fair.
whole time we were joking, me and my brother, during the funeral. Totally wrong,
No,
obviously.
I understand. I won't go into the details on mine just because again, I know I'm saving that content for another episode, but okay, let me get
Yeah,
back here
sounds
to the
good.
commit to
Sorry.
cancel. No,
Yes,
you're okay. How about taking audience questions? Now you're in front of the group
I'll
and you're
commit.
like, "Are there any questions?"
I don't have a problem with that. I think that's actually easier because then I can talk off the cuff with only experience versus trying to prepare for something. Because
I
I
will
think a lot
say,
of the public speaking part is being scared or nervous of the lack of being prepared. But when you're actually taking questions, it's a very
I
improv type of deal.
I echo that as well because um when I tried to prepare for the TV segment, I got in my head about, am I going to say it right? Is this going to go well? And I do much better off the cuff without preparation. I like to know what the questions are, but I don't necessarily want to have a rehearsed answer. So I totally get that. Okay. Hearing your voice echo through speakers, it's probably a cancel.
Yeah, no, I gotta cancel. I don't like that.
Let's see. Forgetting where you are mid sentence, commit or cancel. Would you be able to recover from that?
Yeah, because what I do, it happens frequently at my age. But what I do, what I like to do, and it's the true thing, I will make a joke about it and then change the subject or kind of move on because it does happen, and so you have to learn how to recover from it.
So you committed to way more things than I thought you were. I actually had prepared to say to you, okay, so emotionally, it's all an immediate cancel. But you navigated through many of those very well. So I'm
Well,
impressed.
thank
It
you.
feels like you're growing even through this conversation.
Well, it's that's why I said it's very strange to me because if I were to look at myself and say, why am I scared to talk in front of a crowd? I don't know why. I know that I am though, because whenever I get in front of a crowd, my ears get hot. I mean, you can literally, my ears just get hot. I start sweating, and since I'm bald, it beads up really, a lot, and
Sorry, I shouldn't be
it's
laughing, but
it's
I'm like
true.
imagining now. I'm imagining your demise on stage.
Yeah, and so I know it happens, but literally when I think about why it happens, I'm like, God, that's a stupid. It's like an irrational fear.
Okay,
Being
so
scared of
then the
heights to
follow-up,
me,
right?
yeah. Go ahead.
So the follow-up is, "But did you die?" Right?
No,
Like, when people say that, "But did you die?"
but I could. Yeah, but I could have a heart attack or something.
Okay.
I am getting
Oh
older.
gosh. Alright, well, that's not what I was yeah. Okay. That brings us to the last segment. And good news for you, you're off the hook now. You can relax, you can breathe, because this segment is called This Is How We Do It. And it's where I like to give the
That's a
listeners
song.
it is a song. It's not
Who sings
the
that?
uh,
This is how we do it. I gotta go look at that up
yeah,
now.
I
It's
don't
gonna be
know.
like that.
So the segment is called This Is How We Do It. And the purpose of this segment is to give the listeners a quick little rundown of tips and tricks or
It's Montel Jordan. Sorry.
Montel Jordan. Actually, I should have known that because that's my husband's favorite song. That's his go-to. And I just could not come up with that
Seriously?
on this. Yeah, that's his jam. So if I'm ever
Oh,
trying to okay, you know my husband obviously. So there are times where I'm like, let's get pumped. Let's bring the energy. And his natural reaction is not always, yes, let me match that. And so if I'm trying to curate that moment, I will play Montel Jordan. This is how we do it. Helps get him amped for a good night.
maybe
Anyway,
my rendition just wasn't good enough. You didn't recognize that it would be Montel Jordan. I think that's it, actually.
that does not count as karaoke, by the way. Um, so this is how we do it when public speaking makes you feel like you are seconds away from self-combusting. Okay. You're probably thinking, what if I sound dumb? What if they can tell I'm nervous? What if I just blank completely and forget what's written on my hero Batman pages?
Done that.
But that's totally normal. So here's the plan for the listeners. Step one, stop aiming to look confident and aim to communicate. Those are two different goals. Step two, slow yourself down on purpose. Nerves speed everything up. Step three, the audience knows less about what you planned than you do. So if you miss a word or you stumble, they're not going to know it. And lastly, survive the first 20 seconds. That's the hump. Your body settles in once you've gotten past that initial stress phase. And that's it. No one's expecting a TED Talk from you. They just need you to say the thing. So that is the wrap up of This Is How We Do It when it comes to public speaking. And I am so proud of you, Troy, as my guest. I know you were apprehensive about agreeing to this up until moments before. I hope that this has been a pleasant and seamless experience for you. And you
It
survived.
has, and I honestly credit that to you because you're a friend of mine, and I think that helps a lot.
But did
But
you die?
no, I didn't die at all. I didn't even have a heart attack.
I love that. Well, thank you again. I really, really appreciate you taking your time and really to you and all of my friends and family and coworkers and all the people for supporting me along this journey because working through those awkward moments is what this podcast is about. And I really hope that listeners take something away and can see me and my guests have worked through these moments and hopefully it encourages them to work through some of their hard moments. So, with that, I will leave you all with the reminder that awkward is fine. We're going to do it anyway. And I will see you next time. Follow First Time Energy for new episodes about navigating life's firsts with humor, honesty, and zero sugarcoating. Hit follow so you don't miss the next chaotic learning curve.